what neuroscience says about our senses. Good for everyone, especially authors, to know. And that's why I used some of the music from the 1956 sci-fi classic Forbidden Planet to introduce this podcast. So here we go. Ever since evolution gave Homo sapien brains superior cognition, we humans have wondered, how do we know about the world? The earliest answers come from the ancient Greek philosophers who concluded the world consists of spiritual and material worlds that our brain builds. Renaissance philosopher Descartes talked about the mind-brain duality. The mind, also known as the spiritual, interprets what the brain senses in the material world. And ever since the Enlightenment, science-based technology has given neuroscientists tools for analyzing how the brain learns about the material world via the 5 observable senses, which are sight, sound, taste, touch, and smell, and a possible 6th sense, also known as intuition, or the subconscious. Neuroscientists have mapped the brain's separate regions for each of the senses. Each receives different sensory inputs, and the mind constructs from this sensory-based information its spiritual world, also known as the world of the mind. Modern neuroscience uses brain scanning to measure the brain's neural network's ability to interrelate all sensory inputs. Today, neuroscientists say that our conscious thoughts and feelings are the responsibility of the mind, and that our subconscious thoughts and emotions are the responsibility of the brain. And all of this is controlled by the brain's neural network. And the greater the number of interneural connections, the more vivid and long-lasting our emotions and feelings and thoughts. Here's an example most listeners can relate to. When a major event occurs, the brain stores vast amounts of sensory inputs. And any time later, when a similar experience occurs, or we simply think about it, it triggers the entire neural network to recreate the event by using the vast amount of sensory inputs. By the way, neuroscientists say the path link between the nose and the brain is the shortest of all sensory organs. That's why a tiny fragrance of something from the past triggers vivid memories. Knowing all this helps explain why memories or feelings simply appear randomly. And it can help us when talking to other people. Authors should know about this because they use words to tell stories that generate feelings that make the story come alive in the reader's mind, thanks to the brain's mirror neurons. Mirror neurons interconnect sensing regions in a manner that simulates external events. So, where might future neuroscience research do with our senses? The articles I found emphasize 2 options. Neurochemical stimulation is one. This is sometimes called hallucinatory drugs. Another is microchip implantation, which directly wires external sensors into the brain. Today, the medical profession cautiously uses both options, but the military and the Department of Defense are rapidly deploying them. And I'll end this podcast by giving the answer to a question I asked ChatGPT. Here's the question. In the future, will neuroscientists use ChatGPT software to manipulate and control people's brains via implanted chips? Here's its answer. No. The search results suggest that neuroscientists will use artificial intelligence language models to decode and translate brain activity into words, thus helping people who have lost some of their sensory abilities. Furthermore, search results indicate that future neuroscientists will want to keep everyone's brain data private. Future developments will emphasize assistive technologies, not on any kind of mind control or manipulation. Well, that's an optimistic answer. But the TV series, The Incredible Hulk, showed what happens when neuroscience research generates bad outcomes. And the screenwriters of Forbidden Planet showed how even the best intentions led to a cataclysmic outcome. In this movie, the superior and advanced Krell civilization, living centuries into the future on the far distant planet Altair 7, built a machine so powerful it could provide everything people wanted. The machine did this by reading the minds of everyone alive and creating what everyone wanted. The Krell believed they had invented a machine that would create a utopian world. But one night, when the machine read everyone's thoughts, it carried out even the subconscious ones. The entire Krell civilization destroyed itself on that one frightful night. And I shall leave it for you to compare both answers. And that will end this podcast. Thank you for listening. And bye-bye until next time.